Hey guys, I hope you're hungry for a little snack. So it's Star Wars week here on the Full Ensigns channel. My name is Jericho, and in celebration of May the 4th and Revenge of the 5th, we're going to be doing some Star Wars stuff for 3 or 4 days in the middle of the week here. So today's snack is Bounty Hunter, a PlayStation 2 game that came with the special edition of the PS4 that came with Battlefront. I ended up getting this on a bundle I saw online along with Jedi Starfighter, Racer, and Super Star Wars. But of those 4, this is the game I most played back when it originally came out, so it's the one I know the best, and that's the one we're going to snack on today to see if it's worth your time in the modern day. So like many Star Wars games, but not all, and not Battlefront now that I'm thinking about it, it starts out with a good old opening crawl to get the story across. But I think we will not watch all of that here. Basically, the story is, this is directly before the events of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. So Count Dooku is trying to find the template for the clone army. So it hasn't happened yet in the game. This is just what Jango is up to ahead of time. Jango Fett being the father of Boba Fett, who you might know from Empire Strikes Back, and having the most ignominious death in the galaxy's history in Return of the Jedi at the hands of the Sarlacc. So Dooku is going to send out a call to take down a wayward apprentice of his, and the winner, or whoever is able to do it, he has decided is going to be the candidate to as the template for the clone army. So you start off with this little boss fight against this pit beast, I think it's called, and it's just a classic run out of the way, dodge out of the way as it charges you sort of thing. So already, the controls, they've shifted how controls work nowadays. So it's R1 is to lock on when you're used to, L2 usually. But the graphics, all of these PS2 remakes or re-releases on PS4 kind of had a new coat of paint. So it's a little bit sharper than it was back in the day, but the graphics have held up decently well, I would say, at least for this, kind of set piece here. This should finish off the pit beast. So Jango fires as fast as you can hit square, which is fire, and that's another thing that's different with control schemes nowadays. Is typically you would use a trigger for your triggers, L2 and R2, but in this, L2 is crouch, square is attack. It's just a different world. This was one of my favorite things playing this game as a kid, is using all of Jango's different weaponry and tools and such to get around. You might see me doing some crazy stuff with that's back to if I hadn't done the fight perfectly. I could heal up. Some crazy stuff with the cameras and aiming and stuff, because everything is inverted and weird in this, because that, once again, that was more what people were used to back in the day. It's not really fair that you have to get hurt there, but it's just the way it works. Yeah, like the camera is inverted left to right, which needless to say I'm not used to. But as I recall, there's some platforming stuff that just teaches you more about Jango's moveset and the sort of things he can do. I don't know if you know, this was a brand new game right off the bat, but since this is an older game, there's all sorts of cheat codes and stuff, so if you're interested in trying it, you can just start on whatever level you want and do all the crazy stuff you can do. It's pretty cool. Let me see never mind. A lot of this is very nostalgic for me. This was a game I had a lot of fun with because Boba Fett, one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and I really like Jango as well.
Jango, some of Miko's thugs have
this is Roz. So this game came out, right around the time of Episode 2. So whenever they could push a, a new alien species, they did. So Roz is Jango's buddy, and she is a Tordarian like Watto in Phantom Menace. So I can look at this guy, and he has a price on his head too, so I can mark him, and then I can switch to my little lasso, my whipcord, or whatever, lock on. And I can claim him, 1,000 credits, and most of the credits, or most of the bounties, have either dead or alive. So you can just scan people at random, see if they have any prices on their head, and that's a good way to get extra credits for weapons and all that sort of thing. I actually think that the credits might be mostly like just to unlock extras. I don't know if you ever need them in game, but I honestly don't remember one way or another. I know one problem I had playing this game as a kid is I would be so obsessed with not missing bounties. Like I would just walk around in circles trying to scan everybody and just let myself get hurt. But as you can notice, Jenga will shoot at 2 different targets independently, which is really cool. Now, if you have 2 guns, may as well shoot at 2 different people at once. So yeah, a lot of the the controls and the way the game feels have changed, or will be a bit odd to newer, to people that didn't really grow up with the PS2 and the way that these sort of games feel. But I still would say it's worth a try. I mean, it has not aged very well, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. But it still is fun, and if you're a big fan of Django or of Star Wars games in general, you can do it with your time. And I think it's quite cheap on the PlayStation Store. It's probably like maybe $5 or $10. Yeah, the controls are a real headache, and there's not really any rebinding or something. That was one thing that I really wish they could have added with these re-releases, is some sort of ability like that. Especially since they already had to, in a way, because the touchpad in the center of the PS4 controller is now half, like the right half is start and the left half is select, so you have those buttons. So they already, added and enhanced the control scheme. I think this guy has a price on his head, and that's why he was by himself, so let me kill his buddy. And see, I think I might have accidentally killed him already. Yep, oh well. If you don't mark them beforehand, they're dead forever. So, or I mean, they're lost to you forever, which doesn't really make sense, but it's just so you don't cheese the game. Yeah, I keep hitting L2 to lock on. The game is quite tricky too. It's easy to get overwhelmed, and I mean, your guns are powerful, and they fire as fast as you can hit the button. But if you're not moving around quickly enough, it's easy to get surrounded, and they do a lot. You can't really take much of a beating, especially for a guy in armor. I do want to show off some of the other games that came with the Battlefront bundle, the other 3 Star Wars games, but those will probably be in the coming weeks and months, because so Snacks, the new series, has started off pretty well. It's had a good response so far, and I definitely want to continue it. But I want to have it as up to date as possible. So, for example, next week's we'll have definitely at least one for Uncharted 4 will be out by then. And the other day will probably be the Overwatch beta, if I'm able to record some of that, just to show that off. So that's why the Star Wars stuff might have to wait a little bit longer. But I did want to go ahead and do one Star Wars episode for this week, in honor of May the 4th and all that. Yeah, definitely you can tell that the PS2 platformer roots that this game really wears on its sleeve. Alright, that worked out. I think I did not deserve it, but it still worked out. Ha! You might notice that Django doesn't have his jetpack. I think in the opening cutscene that I skipped over when I skipped the opening crawl, it shows him losing it because there's a guy in a little bit that has it and tries to sell it, and Django just takes it from him as he do. Those daggers are like Mandalorian something or others, so they're just pickups. I think these are babies of the Bokek or Boktek or whatever it's called, the little pit beasts I fought at the beginning of the game. I think, actually, I'm not quite sure. But yeah, you got your basic platforming, you got your shoot explosive barrels. It didn't really do anything crazy, but it made you feel like you were playing, as a bounty hunter, and that's all you can really ask for. So if it seems interesting to you, make sure you check it out. But if not, I hope you at least enjoyed your snack. So go ahead and hit that like button if you did. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any snacks, which go up on Wednesdays and Saturdays. I'll be back soon with more. There's a video every single day on the channel. My name has been Jericho, and I hope you enjoyed your snack, because I'm full.